Good morning to you. Happy Thursday. I hope that you're well. How many days more till Valentine? Joshua, I honestly have gotten over the phase where we used to make a lot of noise about Valentine.
Absolutely.
Right?
Wearing the reds.
Not even just that, but I see all the craze and the men are all over the place trying to find something for their partners for Valentine.
If you like, don't do it.
You see,
You have explanations to give.
When Valentine was here, he used to say Valentine is every day.
Every
day is Valentine.
Oh boy.
Exactly. Anyway, good morning to all of you. We hope that you had a good night rest and it's been a great week so far. You're welcome to the show. I'm here with my TV bestie, Joshua.
Yeah.
It's always good, to see you. When I come to work and I see Joshua and I know that I'm hosting the show with him, my energy levels, shoot up to 100.
Well, it happens with me as well.
Yeah.
Because there's this energy you bring.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Well, there's this energy you bring.
So energy collides with energy, and it's beautiful.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And it's a Thursday, and so yes, we welcome you to the show. And you always know on Thursdays, we also give you some good throwback for you to relive those moments as well. But today we'll be discussing quite a number of things, because I'm sure that by now you are also aware about the whole scholarship brouhaha with Kofi. Kofi used to be he used to be coming here very often.
He still does.
Yeah,
actually.
he still does. Yes,
I'm sure
yes.
that
In fact, last
once
week,
he gets out,
I think last week or the week before, he was here, and he talk about all of these things. And so yes, we'll be getting into that conversation as well. Also talking about all the relevant conversations that you have also been having in your various homes. So welcome aboard the train GA today here on GHOne Television. We are live on GHOne Television and also live on our social media handles. So please get interactive with us. Let's hear from you as well. But it's a Thursday. Let's kickstart this morning with our quote of the day. Right, so our quote this morning is from Sri Chinmoy, who says, "Peace begins when expectation ends." Peace begins when expectation ends. Doesn't mean when you have expectations, you don't have peace. Well, so some of you and some of us just need to, manage our expectations, because sometimes when you have so much expectation, that's when you get so disappointed. You're anxious consistently and all of that. But then when you lower the expectations and know that, listen, people are people. People will do what they want to do. And then you live life in the moment. You don't worry too much about the past or the future. That's where you get to enjoy some peace. And so in the spirit of enjoying peace, let's bring you our video of the day. It's a Thursday. Let's throw back. Hey.
This song is a good one. You know?
It is.
And it's more, you feel it more during the Ghana Music Awards. Yeah. I miss those days when we had songs like these. I am a high life girl.
Absolutely.
My high life genre, that's the kind of music that I like. So Daddy Lumba, Kodjo or Hemeba Kisi, Dada KD, KK Fusu. Those are the kind of songs that I listen to.
Absolutely.
And they never go out of style. When you play it today, you feel like the song was composed today, because it still talks about things that we're experiencing today.
Absolutely. I mean, I remember when Daddy Lumba passed on, I had a conversation with a group of people who are his supporters. And the conversation is that, listen, every phase of life, there's a song that matches it. So it talks about us. And you cannot basically extricate yourself from that. So it brings goosebumps, it reminds you of things. And sometimes you listen to these songs and you're like, oh, I never heard this part of the song all these years, and then it becomes really fresh on you. And one thing too that I believe, because of my instrumentation bias, is that because most of these songs are played live, the instruments were played with so much passion. You could tell the passion in the songs itself, not the ones that people enter studios now and then, Charlie, then it's all over the place.
That's true.
Yeah.
There's a lot of thought process they are very intentional. Even about the instruments. The
conga is played in a certain way. The passion of the people itself, you can feel it in the bass lines and all of that.
Yeah. I mean, not to say that then we don't like the new crop of artists.
Oh, we still like it.
We still do. I have sat here and even said who my current favorite artist is. But I mean, the truth is one, as they say it.
I was waiting for that.
GHOne, welcome to the show. And it's time for court today.
I knew you were out to sound this.
GHOne.
Right, it's time for court today, and
So you forgot about the Mutala.
GHOne is here. GHOne, where are you originally from?
I didn't get that.
He comes from...
Where are you from?
Ningo?
I come from Old Ningo.
Old Ningo.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's a Georgia, St. George's
constituent.
Wow.
Okay. But I was born in the Western region.
Yeah.
So I have so many constituencies. Where I was born, where I come from, where I live.
And where you live now, Crow. Okay.
How do you know I'm still in Crow? Maybe I have left Crow.
Hey. Okay, well, we'll leave that for them. We'll leave that and go to court quickly before we get into trouble.
What do you have for us?
Ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning, Mutala.
I have a lot for you, and for those who remember, 7 months ago, some justices of the 7 of them, and then after they were sworn in, and you note that when you go to within the judiciary, the law allows that at certain point in time you give way, you go and rest, you retire. So one of the 7 judges who were elevated to the Supreme Court, fortunately or unfortunately, time and age was not on his side. So he only had to serve 7 months on the Supreme Court bench. And Justice Philip Wright Mensah, on your screens over there, retired yesterday. He bowed. He had his last bow yesterday. And this event was characterized by very interesting stories, reflections upon reflections, things that he has to go through, and all of that. And initially, the Chief Justice was to miss the program because he was out of the jurisdiction. And the very first picture you saw with the Chief Justice was the last moment. Immediately, the Chief Justice arrived. They have finished the program, and picture sessions, they were almost done, and the Chief Justice arrived. And no, I have to have my time. And so that was the last moment that the Chief Justice, Justice Paul Bafubodi, had with Justice Philip Wright Mensah, and then the family, and of course justices of the Supreme Court, Court of Appeal, and the High Court, family members, circuit court judges, all of them, magistrates, all of them were present. And yesterday, when you are retiring like this, you have almost all your colleagues sit by you, stand by you, and all of that. And it was very, very interesting. So this morning, when you introduced the show and then you were playing the song of the day, I saw that you were sitting in the chair, dancing, turning your body, whether you want to dance or whether somebody made a point about that. But let's have a real feel about the dance that you guys want to dance and you are sitting in your chair. So let's have and see that.
I saw Justice Akabwafo. He taught me advocacy at the law school. An extremely intelligent man. You know?
Yes.
You know, I had the privilege of being taught by a few justices of both of the Court of Appeal and the Supreme Court. Right. So Justice Chebafo of the Court of Appeal.
It's also one of them.
Yes, he taught me interpretation. Very, very sharp man.
Yeah, I mean, well. to be at that level, it means you need to show something. And you've mentioned Justice Akabwafo, very solid guy, very, very solid sharp. And you can see all of them together giving their colleague, Justice Philip Wright Mensah, that moment. So Justice Hafizata Malibuba was there, Justice Enes Gao was there, Justice Sir Dominic Dennis Eje was there, Justice Emmanuel Yoli Konedi is the one standing right on the right side of Justice Philip Wright Mensah, and then Justice Gabriel Pwaman also seated there with his wig, and we saw Justice Yaudakwan Sare, Justice Ernest Adibu Asiedu, Justice Janapari Battles Kodjo, and Justice Kwekutewi Akabwa, for all of them yesterday, and a host of the Court of Appeal judges. And when the video was rolling, you saw that we have the GBA president, the president of Ghana Bas.
You have to join the bench.
You know all their names. Well, anyway.
President of the Ghana Bar Association.
Is that your plan? Do you want to join the bench?
I want to take things step by step.
I know, but eventually, do you want to join the bench?
When we get there, when we get to the Bridge cross.
Yes or no?
Cross.
Oh no, I don't want to. Oh yes, I would like to get there.
For now, I've not thought about it.
You haven't?
No, for now, I've not thought about it.
Because I need to bring some cases to the Supreme Court.
Because you know you need to have been at the bar for
a certain
number of years, I think 15 years plus or so, to be able to get to the Supreme Court. You know.
So a moment like this, you have opportunity to network, interact, and all of that. So yesterday at the Supreme Court, it was very, very interesting. But in a bit, we'll be telling you about the story of Justice Philip Wright Mensah when he was arrested and all of that. But first, let's hear from Justice Philip Wright Mensah.
From Gaboso to Bemiani through to Kumasi, Accra, Sekeni, both in the Court of Appeal and the Supreme Court, I salute you all and express my immense appreciation for the kind assistance and support.
Okay, so brief one, Justice Philip Wright Mensah. We
wish him the very best.
Thanks to all of that.
But what happens to justices of the Supreme Court when they retire? What do they do?
What happens to anybody when they retire?
So
Go ahead.
some of them serve on certain boards. They are attached to certain institutions because of their knowledge and all of that. So they don't just go follow.
Okay.
Yeah, they have roles to play. Some of them
Like
also
how
nurture the young ones.
You know,
Absolutely.
No.
Intellectuals or
Well,
professionals. So
because people
there
look-
are many things that you can do.
Because people know that you are a judge. For crying out loud. You're on retirement. I think of it a bit different, but I'm just guessing.
How different?
Because okay, so now correct me if I'm
You are
wrong.
just looking at the knowledge they have that they are going.
Not just the knowledge, but I feel that because of their practice, they do not necessarily have a pure social life like others do.
Yes.
So after retirement, do they now?
Okay, so that's what you were asking.
Exactly.
I don't know of any who has, come out to quote unquote mingle like
Yeah.
that. I think it becomes a
it
part
becomes
of
part of
you
them,
over
so
time.
they
Yeah.
just-
When it gets to that time, it's difficult for them to really open up.
Open
but
up,
some of
yeah.
them also do it behind the scenes. So once you get used to a certain lifestyle, you get used to.
Yeah.
It's difficult.
So
to
on that
work
note,
out
Kodjo Mensah, I can never be a judge. Let's move on.
Well, I was going to say something.
Along the line, he told a story about how a certain arrest actually made him who he is now. Let's hear from Justice Philip Bright Mensah.
And express my immense appreciation. I also thank Justice Emmanuel Yoni. When we were in the faculty, when I entered the faculty, he was in Form 3. You know what I admired him for? He was always wearing immaculate white shirt. Not ordinary white shirt too. Immaculate. Hello. Thank you for your support. Justice Professor Henry Mensah, my teacher and mentor in Lagos. And indeed, to all justices of the Supreme Court, I say I echo. And even to the secondary police who locked me up in cells overnight. I say thank you. As that singular act rather helped my resolve to work more assiduously.
Yeah, so we'll actually find out the real story why he was picked up by the secondary police. But he makes the point that sleeping in cells for that overnight has also taught him a lot of things as for who he is now, because he set a certain target for himself and then he has achieved it. And that target is to be at the highest court of the land, and that is the Supreme Court. So despite the fact that he spent a brief period at the Supreme Court, he's actually enjoyed it. He spent so much time at the High Court, and of course, the Court of Appeal was in 2019. But Justice Gabriel Palmer, yesterday when the ceremony was happening, he was there as an acting Chief Justice because the Chief Justice was not present there. He also had a moment to share.
On this court was necessarily brief. His Lordship's perseverance was nonetheless rewarded because he has had an impactful tenure at the Supreme Court. We as the judiciary shall continue to engage you from time to time to come and share your experiences and your knowledge with those that you have left behind on the bench.
So that is acting Chief Justice at the time, because when the ceremony was taking place, the Chief Justice was not within reach. But just at the tail end, like we show you in the video, he was present to have a moment with Justice Philip Bright Mensah. So the Attorney General was expected to be there, but we're told that something very equally important took him away. So the Director of Public Prosecution, Mrs. Yvonne Atakra-Obobisa, represented, and he told a story about Justice Philip Bright Mensah being a mate and all of that. Let's hear from the DPP.
Continue to
Philip Bright Mensah, the Office of the Attorney General is grateful to you for your dedicated service to Mother Ghana. Personally, I have appeared before you when you were in the High Court. I have appeared before you in the Court of Appeal. Unfortunately, I never appeared before you when you were elevated to the Supreme Court. But in all instances, when I appeared before you as an officer of the Office of the Attorney General representing the Republic, I must say that you always acted in fairness, you acted with respect for all parties who came before you. We respect you for all the opinions you have given from the bench.
So, the Director of Public Prosecution, Mrs. GHOne Obobisa, who is a mate of the retired Justice of the Supreme Court, Justice Philip Bright Mensah, also said something when he was representing the Attorney General. But the President of the Ghana Bar Association, Mrs. Ifwagate, was also there.
He is courteous to lawyers. He is compassionate and will encourage you to make your points, even if you falter when commencing your arguments. He is firm and friendly. He has a good temperament and is also tolerant of dissent.
So, President of the Ghana Bar Association, Mrs. Ifwagate, also added her views to all the things that have been said about the retiring judge. In fact, he compiled a list messages from some of the lawyers describing Justice Philip Bright Mensah and all of that. And guess what? The staff, the Judicial Service Staff Association of Ghana, whom they have worked with Justice Philip Bright Mensah. At the point in time, we're told that he was even a member of JUSAC and all of that. Samuel Afotiotu also has a message.
Permit me to say that His Lordship Justice Philip Bright Mensah was one of the top bearers whose vision, courage, and dedication significantly contributed to the success of the association that we are proud of today.
Right. So, Samuel Afotiotu, the president of the Judicial Service Staff Association of Ghana. So, that is it. Justice Philip Bright Mensah, at 70, is retired from the Supreme Court.
Right. Anything we should look forward to?
So before I come to that, yesterday, Democracy Hub, U.S. deportees.
Right.
Yes, that case. There was a ruling at the Supreme Court. You note that the substantive matter is pending. There was an interlocutory injunction that the Democracy Hub filed. They want the court to stop government from remitting or deporting those persons who were brought to Ghana. And then there was another request seeking to find out whether there is an existence of agreement, such agreement that Ghana and US had for such persons to be brought to Ghana and all of that. So yesterday, the court was making a ruling on the discovery of that particular agreement. Right. In fact, you know that along the line, the Attorney General, through the Deputy Attorney General, brought that document, showed it to the judges in chambers. They asked few questions and then they adjourned to rule. And their ruling was that the way and manner the document looked like, it is not one of the documents that it should be kept in secrecy. The way it is, you cannot also put it in the public domain. So the best way to handle it is that the lawyers of Democracy Hub should be given access, should be allowed to have an inspection of that document. They will only have to see and read what is on it. They can't have, and that is all, it ends there. Not even the external person will have to look at it, only the lawyers, so that they to help the argument in relation to the substantive matter. And a copy also is supposed to be made available to the president of the bench so that it helps them in adjudicating of this case. So the order is for AG to make that document available to the lawyers in this matter.
Right.
Mutala, thank you so much. Do you have anything?
So today, we expect the Cabinet Dubois National Signals Bureau will be in court and all of that. Yesterday it was supposed to happen, but the witness, the court was informed that it's unwell, and the expectation is that hopefully to this morning we'll be back in court. So that is what we should expect and some more.
Right.
All right. Thank you so much, Mutala Kwenote, for bringing us court today.
I'll see you at our days.
At our days. I'm not in court today.
Yeah, I know. This week.
Yes.
Yeah.
This week? No, I've been in court.
You are done for the week.
I'm done.
So
for
I
the
know
week.
Monday,
Yes,
Tuesday,
yes,
and Wednesday.
yes.
So those of you who want to see Serwaa, you come Monday, Tuesday. come to the court. When you locate me, I'll show you where.
Saturday. Mutala, thank you, and
Thank you,
enjoy
sir.
the rest of your
Thank you to
morning.
the
I'm
team.
sure that we'll speak again on news.
Most definitely.
This morning. But stay with us. Coming up next is Inside Out.
Right, so welcome back to the show. And for Inside Out today, we're talking about the whole scholarship brouhaha, because there were concerns raised by Kofi Nkansa, and that has pretty much, President Mahama, we are told, commissioned an inquiry into the matter. Now, we are told that he was invited at a point. His house had to be searched for certain things. And then, now we are told that, yes, there are issues about spreading false information, fake news, whether that was the case or not. But let's bring you some visuals from the raid of his home.
This is a today is the 12th of February, and we understand that he will be charged, so he will formally be arraigned for the charge of, what did they say again? Publication of false news. And publication of false news, Joshua, under our laws, is a misdemeanor.
Right.
And for offenses of misdemeanor, the term or the prison sentence is from a day up to 3 years imprisonment. Okay. It's punishable by up to 3 years imprisonment. Now, the question is detention for an offense such as misdemeanor, like a show of power, like many have said? Because let me just run our viewers through the timelines of what happened in this case, right? So on February 2, 2026, the former NEIPCU, and Joshua said earlier, he's a constant on the show, he publicly alleged on a radio station in Kumasi, Sompa FM, that individuals paid bribes to secure government-sponsored foreign scholarships. He claimed in Chi that an individual paid to secure scholarship to pursue studies abroad. Then on February 3, 2026, which is the next day, the president's office issued a directive identifying his allegations as serious and of grave public concern. And so the secretary to the president, Callistus Mahama, instructed the NIB to investigate the claims with immediate effect. Now, on February 4, in response to this allegation, the Ghana Education Trust Fund, which is responsible for issuing these scholarships, came out with a disclaimer that the allegations were false. They denied it and cautioned against such accusations and allegations. Then on February 5, 2026, we are told by lawyers for Kofi Nkansa that he voluntarily went to the NIB to assist with investigations, right?
Because then we had heard that he had been arrested.
Right, and he came out to deny saying
Exactly.
that he had not been arrested, but we are told by his lawyers that he voluntarily went there. Now, fast forward to February 10, 5 days later, we're told that national security, operatives, or NIB operatives, raided his residence in Rambo style and took him. This is a video of when he was released. I don't know when he was released, because on the next day, after February 10, on February 11, while in NIB custody, we were told that his health had deteriorated. He suffered a spike in blood pressure and pain from a pre-existing bone condition. And so he was admitted at the Bureau's clinic for medical care and remained under NIB supervision during this period. So yesterday, we're told that he will be formally charged, or he was formally charged with publication of false news. And I have seen, write-ups from lawyers, from CSOs, questioning whether this is an excessive show of power. Because this offense, like I said earlier, is a misdemeanor.
Yeah.
And if somebody has voluntarily gone to the NIB because he has made allegations which you say are false, he came there, why do you need a Rambo style to even go and search his house? President Mahama is enjoying a very good legacy and goodwill. So far, I don't think that anyone should try to mess it up with some of these things. Some of these things are needless.
And we've had cause to complain over and over again that sometimes, you see, yes, we are told that he had to be detained so that the house could be searched without him having to interfere in that process. But then it's about how we go about these things that raises eyebrows and raises calls for concern. Because if, like we said, and like give us the proper breakdown. If it's a misdemeanor, as the allegation is, or the charge that we are told has been proffered, or has even been proffered against him yet?
Yeah, he's been charged.
Exactly. So if it's a misdemeanor, why this show of force? Is it to prove a point? But then if you're proving a point and it does not come out to be to the people that, well, this is needed, then what are you doing? What exactly is the state apparatus when it comes to security doing? Because Kofi Nkansa, like you said earlier, he voluntarily came.
Right.
So if the person was maybe trying to obstruct any form of investigation into the matter, then yes. But if someone has voluntarily presented himself to the security services, he's been detained, and then this is what we see, clearly it's worrying. It's worrying, especially in a democracy that we're practicing.
And you know that, like I said, for someone who voluntarily, reported, if there was the need to speak to him again, because when he went there on the 5th of February, he was questioned according to his lawyer, and he was allowed to go home. So if there was a need to invite him again or speak to him again, why not just re-invite him? When the person has voluntarily surrendered himself. And please, we are in no way, supporting any political party or whatsoever. We're just saying that some of these things, as a people, we should do away with. I do not believe or even think that President Mahama will condone such or will approve such.
No.
We just have to go about some of these things the right way to avoid people feeling that there's an excessive show of power or someone is just trying to, quote unquote, teach someone a lesson.
And that's what brings in the political conversation. That, you're doing this simply because it's a member of an opposition party. But then if it were different, perhaps we wouldn't have seen this. What we're saying is that regardless of which administration is in power, excessive show of force by security apparatus is completely wrong. And that we would always talk about. And so that's the state of affairs as it stands now. Today he'll be arraigned, we're told. And then the court will take it over from then. And Kofi Nkansa would know. I mean, the court would have to make a determination on whether or not what he did amount to the sharing of false news. And then the court will make a decision as to what, like Serwaa said, between a day and then what?
3 years.
If you're found guilty. Well, for me, I'm not an officer of the court, so I would just leave it at that for the courts.
Right, so these are the issues. But Kofi Nkansa will be here. He's a friend of the show. He comes here very often. I'm sure that now that he's been released, he'll be arraigned today. And so we will know. I'm sure that he will plead not guilty to this charge, publication of false news. But we will definitely want to hear from him, But Joshua, I don't know if you have seen the documentary by Fourth Estate. So yesterday at work, my colleagues and I, Abna and we were, Douglas, we were watching the documentary actually. deaths in police cells.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and some of the stories are so bizarre. And in fact, all the stories are bizarre, but some of them, it makes no sense. You know, if you haven't, I think you need to watch it.
Yeah.
And I think that we need to find a way to play that documentary for our people to watch. Yeah. And then we'll come back and talk about
I saw excerpts from Jojo.
Okay.
Jojo shared excerpts with me, and when I saw it, I'm like, wow. Sometimes. And that's why when Captain Mutala talked about the justice, the retired judge, talking about his time he spent in police cells, I was like, it's something that nobody should even wish for. Counter back, even for 1 hour, don't wish to be there. Trust me, it's not worth it.
Right, let's tell you what's in the newspapers now very quickly before we get into the breakfast review. So we'll start with Daybreak. MIIF positions Ghana for sustainable returns from minerals. This according to the Lands Minister. And NIB reverts to BNI. Oh. I really want to know the reason behind this because, please, can we do like the daily graphics and the
It's quite interesting. So, all right, so let's take the Daybreak newspaper. Freedom.
That's what I just did, actually.
Okay, yeah. So let's be the daily analyst without fear or favor. Cocoa sector crisis. Mahama holds emergency cabinet meeting today.
Wasn't the cabinet meeting
today's
yesterday?
Thursday, right? This.
Okay, we are sorry about that. We are sorry about that. So stay with us. After the break, we will be sitting with our guests. We'll get into the conversation. This is GH Today. You're welcome back to the show. This is GH Today. I am Serwaa Amihere. It's time for the breakfast review. I'm joined this morning by David Vondi. He's a member of parliament for the good people of Trifo at Simokwa. Good morning. And Issa Husseini is the Western Regional NPP Director of Communications. Good morning to you as well. Okay. Before we get into the conversation, this Valentine, the MTN Ghana Foundation, in partnership with Callbank, is calling on all Ghanaians to show love in the most meaningful way by saving a life. Join us for the 2026 MTN Save a Life blood donation drive happening on Friday, 13th February 2026 from 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. The exercise will take place at MTN Ghana Head Office, Mobile Money Limited Office at the Stanchat Building, Callbank Head Office in Ridge, and at 44 other donation centers nationwide. This annual campaign invites MTN staff, customers, suppliers, partners, and the public to come together and help boost blood supply for the National Blood Service and regional hospitals across the country. Remember, your single donation can give someone a second chance at life. This Valentine, share a gift that truly comes from the heart. Give love, give life. Donate blood on Friday, 13th February. For the full list of donation centers across Ghana, visit mtn.com.gh and MTN Ghana social media platforms to know where and align yourself. And if you want real, authentic Ghanaian gold, please visit any of the gold bought showrooms and you will get real, authentic Ghanaian gold. Okay. So, if you're planning something special for your partner, this is your week. It's Valentine. Everyone is gifting their loved ones something. Please head to Goldbot Jewelry because they are celebrating couples and lovers with exclusive Valentine gold offers. From engagement rings, promise rings to couple pieces, all available this week. This whole week is about romantic gifting, proposals, anniversaries, and Valentine's Day celebrations through affirmation and reaffirmation of promises. Make your love official with Goldbot Jewelry as you enjoy special discount on our exquisite jewelry collections, and gold tablets. Visit their website, jewelry.goldbot.gov.gh, and all their social media handles on Facebook, Instagram, X, and TikTok, Goldbot Jewelry, or call them on 055-152-2233 for any enquiry. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm here with the Honourable Member of Parliament for the Trifo Ati Mokwa constituency and also the NPP Western Regional Director of Communications. Okay. Gentlemen, you're welcome once again.
Thank
you. This morning, one of your own will be arraigned for the offense of publication of false news. I have seen lots of reactions from your camp already on his detention and how many believe it's an abuse of power, especially when he had voluntarily declared or submitted himself to the NIB.
Yeah.
What's the party's position on this?
Let me say a very good morning to you and your cherished listeners. And a good morning to my brother, Honorable. I think this is our first time meeting. So I think we've made our position very clear. We are against a culture of silence. So definitely, I was happy yesterday listening to the lawyer that he has been released from custody and has given a bail, and they are arranging him before court. I don't know the crime.
I've just told you, publication of false news.
If this publication of false, it means that the institution, the investigation institution, has concluded investigating the matter. Because I see it as a whistleblower. I've not seen it as somebody who has publicized something that is false. It's subjected to investigation. So we were expecting the institution to commence investigation, come to conclusion, and tell Ghanaians the outcome. Then we can conclude that the person is publishing something that is falsehood.
Which institution are you referring to?
I'm talking of the scholarship secretariat.
But they have already said and come out to deny that the claims are false.
No. Investigation has not. We haven't had any investigation into that particular matter. Even though the presidency directs the investigation institution to investigate the matter. So we haven't had any committee or any institution investigating the matter and has come to a conclusion that the publication was falsehood.
But I'm telling you that the Ghana, not NIB,
yes.
You are talking about NIB.
Yes.
That's fair, but the institution which is in charge of giving out the scholarships, which is GHOne, has come out to strongly deny.
So based on their denial, you conclude that there is nothing going untoward in their institution. So does it mean that anything that happens, you come out and deny it ends there? You don't need to investigate further. Once the institution comes out to tell you that nothing is going on there, then you conclude the matter by saying that the person has published a falsehood.
Well, they haven't said that they have concluded.
You see, the letter that came from the office of the president indicated that they should investigate the matter. And I haven't heard anybody investigating the matter. I haven't seen any institution directed to investigate the matter, except that they picked the guy and they touted him to be publishing falsehood. If that is the case, that means we will not have a whistleblower in this country again. We will not have somebody to come out and tell you if something is happening or something untoward is happening in a particular institution. Everybody will be afraid to say so, because as soon as you say it and the institution comes out to tell you that nothing is going on in the institution, they conclude that, yes, the institution is right and you are wrong. And they will pick you up and prosecute you in that particular case. So everybody will be afraid. So I still believe that the institution should dip into the issue. He is somebody who has worked there before. Definitely has people around that particular that can give him information. And based on that information that he made that particular statement. So how can you investigate one side and leave the institution? The institution that the allegation has been made against is idle. And I don't think that is how we should run our country. I feel that we should give everybody the opportunity. The issues that we are discussing, haven't we heard this in previous, the opposition people say all manner of things against Nana Adanko Akufo-Addo's government? Have they been arrested by the Nana Akufo-Addo government for saying all manner of things? Let me give you one clear example. We were told that Hospital or something like that, Hospital, this company belongs to the former vice president. And that monies that are being accrued are going into his account. Did this Nana Akufo-Addo government arrest somebody for publishing falsehood? I don't think we should be. We have gone too far. From 1992 till date, we've been practicing democracy, and I believe that democracy is what can unveil whatever is covered under the ground. And I still believe that what the institution did, they went extreme. They should have invited him, get information from him. Where did you get the information from? Then the person can now tell you his source of information. Based on the source of information, you can investigate and dig deeper to fight corruption. That is how we strengthen our institutions. That is how we fight corruption. But you don't invite the person, punish the person for publishing that particular information. And I don't think it's something that we should be encouraging. If that is the case, so should one day MPP comes to power and my brother sitting here happens to make allegation on radio station, we should pick him up and go and lock him up because he's making allegation that somebody has maybe engaged in some corrupt practices. I don't think we should be going in that manner. I strongly condemn, and the party also strongly condemned that particular move by NIB. And I believe that going forward, they will correct themselves. And somebody should test the law, because even keeping the person beyond the time that he's supposed to be in cell is also against the law. The fundamental human right of the person should be respected. So I still believe the minority also issue a statement to that effect, and then the party also issue a statement to that effect, and it should not happen again, because I don't believe the president himself endorses whatever happened at this NIB yesterday. Even though he has been given bail, but I don't think the president himself endorses that, because the letter that came from the presidency didn't direct them to go and arrest the person. The letter was clear, saying that they should investigate. And investigation doesn't mean that you should intimidate the person who has made the statement.
Okay. I mean, do you remember the journalist Bobby Ansah?
Bobby Ansah?
Yes.
What happened?
Do you remember that charges were preferred against him over publication of alleged false news as far back as 2022 as well? And that was because he said something which had to do with the former First Lady. Do you remember?
I don't remember that case. Even if that happened, I don't remember.
It did happen. I'm telling you that it did happen.
So if it happens, these people came to power at the back of resetting, making sure that they are doing things differently from the previous government. So if it happened in the previous government, should it repeat itself today? When they promised Ghanaians that they were going to change things, what is happening in the previous government wasn't good. And that was why Ghanaians voted them to power. Should we continue the way it was? If it happens in the previous government, should this government continue with it? So I don't think it's something that we should be equalizing. These people came and told Ghanaians that they are bringing in a new agenda altogether.
It's not about equalization, but the question is, do you have the moral right to complain about things that you did?
Yes, we have the moral right, because based on their promises that they made to the Ghanaian people. Because they told us they were not going to toe the same line. They told us that they were going to do something different. They told us that we should expect new direction from this particular government. And I expect that they were going to do something differently, not to come and repeat the same thing that the previous government was doing and tend to tell us that it's okay. Then why should Ghanaians queue on a line and vote for you? They voted for you based on the promises that you made to them. They were not expecting this from you. So Ghanaians will be very disappointed when they give you power and you repeat the same thing and comes to tell us that the previous government has done that. I don't think it's something that we should be equalizing. This is a new government. This is a new face. This is a president that has been a president before. And I believe that he's going to correct the wrongs that were done at the past. Not to come and repeat the same thing and tell us that something has been, in the previous government, somebody was arrested for publishing falsehood. And because of that, we are also doing the same thing. Okay. So what is the essence of changing?
Okay.
So that shouldn't come in at all. We are expecting to move forward. We are not expecting to retrogress and go back to our previous things and then start telling people stories. This is a government that promises us that we are going to have a new government that is going to be fair to everybody. And I don't think the president himself is happy with what has happened. I don't think he's happy with it.
Okay. Honorable.
Yeah. Good morning to you and your cherished viewers. I mean, you're already looking Valentine anyway. Very beautiful. And good morning to everybody who is watching us, especially my constituency, Shifo, Etimokwa people who are watching us this morning. I think that our criminal jurisprudence, if you like, the laws that govern this country were established to guide individuals' behavior that if not guided, may hurt the progress of this country's, future. And I think that those laws were actually made so well thought through. The Electronic Offences Act that was passed way back in 2008, Section 74, is clear, absolutely clear. And it criminalizes false publications that may cause panic and fear, which of course may bring the country to disgrace and all that. We know. And this is not the first time this law is being used. And this is not the first time it will be used. I think that, sometimes going on radio, television, media, and to publish information that in yourself should know is a lie, that you're lying, which you know are false, destroys, first of all, the fabrics of this country, carries very false impressions about this country internationally, and destroy individuals that these informations may be said about. And I think that calling you to come and substantiate, if you like, the allegations that you made, the very informations that you channeled out there for people to hear, I don't think in itself is anything wrong. I think that it is rather good for the maker of those allegations to come and substantiate and to help the country and help the government, the authorities, individuals who are placed in positions to ensure that there are no corruption within that regard, to help them to work. I don't see how an invitation to come and help the authorities to ascertain the truth or otherwise about things that you yourself said, publicly. And mind you, he didn't say those things under duress nor gunpoint. He said all those things so freely and by his own. And I think that it is just good to invite him and to substantiate, help the authorities to identify those individuals who are taking bribe before giving those scholarships. And I think that it is good for him himself to clear himself. And so there is nothing wrong about that. Then the next leg of the issue is that when he was, invited, he fell ill, when he was invited.
He was not invited. So the man voluntarily went to the NIB on the 5th of February. And then he was questioned and let go. On the 10th of February, he was arrested. He was picked up. On the 11th, on the 11th, he fell sick, I think so. Let me just get my facts right. But yes, he was not invited.
So again, he was invited, first of all. There was some conversation between him and the authorities. And then, going forward... He
was not invited. He voluntarily went there.
No. Again, you wouldn't go there if you were not invited to come and explain the things that you might have said.
Following the president, unless the lawyer is lying, but following the president's directive, asking the NIB to investigate.
Then he decided to go.
Yes, so he voluntarily went.
So again, whatever it is, whether voluntarily or not, he went there, gave some, information.
Right.
And then he left, isn't it?
Right.
Then the authorities carried out investigation, into what he might have said to them when he voluntarily went there. Then the authorities realized that there were some, more clarifications and some more, explanations that were needed. And then they decided to go pick him up. Everybody could be picked up anyway. That's
in that way.
Again, you cannot explain, you cannot establish that is a misdemeanor sitting here. You cannot.
How can I not establish?
Because
the offense has been stated publicly.
Because
the offense of publication of false news
yes.
is a misdemeanor. It's
again,
in the laws. How can you say that?
Again,
and I'm a lawyer.
Hold on.
When you say that I cannot establish saying here,
what
is a misdemeanor?
Okay, so yes. Hold on. Whatever it is, the guy was picked up.
Should he have been picked up in that manner?
Well,
would he not have been re-invited?
Well, that is a discretion we can talk about. But the point is that he was picked up. And then he was at the custody of BNI, right?
NIB.
NIB, okay. So I learned he felt sick, ill, when he got there. I think there was some already existing conditions that were, maybe going there, the conditions there perhaps did not permit him, so he fell ill. And he was taken to us. So I understand that he was taken very good care of, just like any individual that, if picked up and maybe taken care of if he fell sick. And so he was taken good care of. And I learned he's been granted bail, and then he's free now. I will be going to court today, right?
Yes.
I think that is what should be done.
I don't think it's today.
It's today, 12 February is today.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely. So he's been taken to court. And he will go to court to explain himself. He has representatives, lawyers who will talk for him, who will represent him and help him to explain himself in court. I think that's fine. And again, we did not see situations where people were arrested or people voluntarily went to the police stations under some regime where they were brutalized and hanged up, upside down, beaten to death and all that. We saw all that. We saw what happened in this country. This time around, you have opportunity.
What did you see? What happened?
Because
I remember these examples that I give him, your party spoke vehemently against it.
Yes.
And said that if some allegations had been leveled against certain people, at worst case, take them up for defamation. But do not use Rambo style in arresting people.
Again,
but you are here doing the same thing.
No, again, at least we are giving him the opportunity per the law to go to court to defend himself.
Who wasn't given the opportunity to defend himself?
Of course, there were situations in this country where we saw so many brutalizations that happened, under various regimes. You remember how people were arrested in this country? Some people? Rambo styles and
Which
all
people?
That. Of course, I give you a typical example when Kodjo to Ablakwa, his house were besieged. His young kids were all over running around and all that. It happened in this country. I'm not saying that these are things that we should continue to do. But again, I am saying to you that opportunities are given to this gentleman to go to court and defend himself. I think that's where we are now. And so let's allow the law to work. Again, I'm not going to sit here to say that any individual should be, maltreated by any security agencies. No. And I don't think that's what His Excellency John Dramani Mahama will endorse. And I won't endorse that either. Again, Kofi is a friend. I know Kofi very well. He's a friend. We've been on show, know that he's a very calm guy. So sometimes what we need to do is to guard what we say. If you have no, evidence on things that you say, you just have to let go. You don't need to say things that will bring you to issues of this nature. So I think that he should go to court. His lawyers are going to defend him. He provided evidence of bribery and corruption that he talked about, how people are taking money and giving scholarships that are supposed to be free. He's going to be able to provide all those information, and he's going to help the authorities to be able to delve into the matter and arrest those perpetrators. And I think that's what we all should be doing. We should be providing information that's going to help the country to reset this country. And so that's fine. He should go to court today. And I wish him well as an individual. I will not wish the MPP well as a grouping. But as an individual, there are some fine, nice people among them that you may wish well. But once they come together and they group themselves as MPP, I'm not sure you will wish them well if you want this country.
I wish everybody well.
No, everybody individual. For example, my brother here, I wish him well as an individual. But the moment they come together to pursue the agenda of MPP, and you wish them well, then it means that you were not in this country for the past 8 years. But if you're in this country for the past 8 years, that kind of grouping, and to perpetrate and pursue that agenda of the MPP, I don't think you wish them well. And so let's allow our brother to go to the court. I wish him well as an individual. Go to the court. And lawyers will defend him. I'm sure this is a misdemeanor, a lawyer, of course, and I believe that he will be treated well and he will be taken care of. But he should be ready to help the authorities to identify those who have been taking bribe and before giving scholarships to their chronics and family members, which of course that's not what we want to do as NDC and government, ruling government. That's not His Excellency John Dramani Mahama's agenda. And so if you have individuals who are doing that, tarnishing the image of the government and bringing the very good, successes that we are achieving, bringing the image of government down, we should be able to deal with the person irrespective of the political orientation and character, color that you belong. And so that's a very useful information we want. I mean, you know that for the past 1 year that we've been in government, you've not heard of any scandal. It is because of the check and balances that are working. It's because of the character of His Excellency Mahama that every appointee is actually learning to exhibit, and the fact that we want to reset this country's economy. And so if you have individuals who are perpetrating those acts and you have the information, you should be very, very, ready and willing to give it out. And I think that that would be fine. So he should go to court, defend himself, and then we take it from there. I think that is fine.
Okay. You want to have a
I
bite
want
quickly?
to say something
Quickly.
to what my brother is saying. I think he should be bold enough to condemn the act instead of going around it. You should be bold enough to do that. Nobody will pursue you. Nobody will accuse you of maybe going against your own party. But we must strongly condemn this particular, and especially you are a lawyer, somebody being in detention beyond the 24-hour is something that is very worrying. So it's happening under this government. And you are saying it happens in the previous government that they picked certain people and then they were not treated well. You were not happy with it. Why are you now employing that particular strategy under this particular government since you were not happy with it? Is that the change that you ask Ghanaians to give you? And I believe there is a practice in this particular government that, anybody that speaks his mind. I understand what you call false publication, which falls under the misinformation that the person has given. Allow the person to explain himself. Give the person the opportunity to explain himself for you to determine whether the person who you are alleging that he's making false information, whether it's false information or not. You have not given him that information. You arrested the person, ransacked his home, picked all manner of things in their house. And I don't know whether that amounts to, criminality. And I don't believe so, as you said. That is misdemeanor. You know it. It's something when even the person defaults. And the person is going to be liable for either fine or some imprisonment for some less than 1 year or 2 years. You know it. It's under our Criminal Offences Act, Act 29. When you look at Section 208, it's there. So it's not something that is so serious, grievous thing that you have to go in and pick the person in a Rambo style, go and put him in a cell for even going beyond the 24-hour that is prescribed by the law. You understand? So I want you to have joined the minority to condemn the act, and it's also caution your people that don't do that. They voted for us because we want change. We want to change our attitude. We want to change the way we behave. We want to change the narratives. That is why Ghanaians have confidence in us and they voted us in power. But if you don't condemn it and you are aligning yourself with them, it means that the change that Ghanaians have voted for has not given any value. And I believe that we are all Ghanaians. Today is your turn. Tomorrow it may be my turn. And when they pick you out, I will not be happy. And I'll be here defending such an attitude. And I believe that we should be each other keepers. You said he's your friend. And I believe that you should have been bold enough to condemn that statement or that act from the NIB.
No, you see, we all know that the gentleman went there, to give some information that we know. Then after that, he was picked up. Again, you and I cannot determine what information he gave, when he got to the security agencies at the time he went. So you do not know how the information he gave was processed, and that necessitated his arrest. He's picked up. You do not know. Again, he was not just picked up, but he went there, gave some information, okay? And the information that he gave, you have no idea whatsoever the information he gave. Neither do I have the idea of the information he gave. That information was processed, and the authorities felt that he should be picked up. Do you understand what I'm saying? I am saying that I will not endorse the security agencies, brutalizing and taking anybody's freedom for granted. No. But I'm saying to you that it would be wrong to begin to pass judgment when the gentleman went there first time, gave information. You do not know what he said. You did not know the conversation that actually went on.
I don't have a problem with it. I don't have a problem with that.
Hold on. You do not know the conversation that went on between him and the authorities the time he went there.
Yes.
The information was processed for some 2 or 3 days.
Yes.
And then he was then picked up.
I don't have a problem with that.
Okay, hold on.
My problem is
to you,
after he was picked up and the information was given to the people, he should have been allowed to give him.
Well, you see, again,
he should have been allowed to go home.
Hold on. You and I cannot determine, okay, that what exactly was the information that he gave and the reason he was detained. That one, you do not have that information. Okay, so we're sitting here to say that the authorities picked him and they put him in cells and he was detained, it was wrong and all that. Again, I am not endorsing the security agencies actually taking advantage of anybody's freedom. That's not the point. But you see, there is a gap. There is some level of information you and I do not have. And so once he's on bail now, and he's going to go to court today, let him go to court and defend himself, and we move forward. But what's important is that the allegation of bribery and corruption, taking money before giving, scholarship, is a very serious allegation.
Yes.
And I think that that's what we need to unravel, to get to know who is taking money before giving scholarship.
That should have been the main focus.
Again, the suspect, the gentleman who made the allegation, is a very important person in giving out the evidence, the information that will lead to get those people arrested. Again, if it is not true that anything of that sort happened, and that he was only trying to tarnish the image of this government, then you know what it means also, isn't it? And so let's allow him, let the law work. Again, I mean, nobody should be arrested and put in police cells or any cells and take his freedom be curtailed without any just cause. No, I mean, I don't endorse that. But I'm saying that you can also not just condemn the security services for arresting him, especially after he had gone there to give some informations that were processed. Perhaps some investigations were done. Again, that maybe he was needed to be picked and all that. You have no that information. So let's allow him. I'm happy he's out now. He will be going to court.
So, Honorable, were you aware of the information that Kodjo Ablakwa gave to the people when he was picked up from his home? At that time, institutions were working, and you were criticizing those people, those institutions. At this particular time, you want to now give the institution the benefit of doubt.
You see
that whatever they are doing, because we are not privy to whatever information that the gentleman has given to them, we should give them the opportunity to punish him.
What we have to understand is that
you see,
there is no arrest.
I'm coming. Let me land.
Hold on.
I'm coming.
I'll help you.
I know. I'm having some. I want to land so that you understand me better. So we have no right to criticize because they are doing their duty.
Thank you.
They are now the security people who are investigating the matter, and whatever information they have, we may not be privy to it. And because of that, we should not criticize.
Thank you very much.
So now, if you are saying that, but what I know from my side is that whoever is being picked has the right to be given bail at any particular time. Because in the first place, we were violating that particular rule until the case came which is Martin Kwebu versus the Republic of Ghana, which makes every offense in this country available. So what has prevented the NIB from giving the gentleman a bail?
But who says the gentleman was not bailed?
He wasn't given.
He was given bail.
He was denied until yesterday.
He has not been put before court yet. Let me just correct that. But he's been released.
I know. Yesterday, it was yesterday that he was released. I know that he has been released. What I'm trying to say, the day that they picked him up,
your issue
you understand?
Is that,
and the case is not a grievous one that you may say that because the person has committed a crime which goes beyond any boundary. Because of that, you are doing deeper investigation.
No, your issue is that when he was picked up, he should be billed the same day, right?
Exactly.
I mean, that's your issue. That's your discretion.
And even in this particular matter, he was not supposed to be arrested. He was supposed to be invited.
That's your opinion, right?
That is not my opinion. That is the law.
So, no, I'm sorry.
That is the law.
I'm sorry.
It's not my opinion.
No, the point I'm making to you is that the gentleman went there already. They had some conversation, and then he left, isn't it? Is that correct?
No, that wasn't an official invitation. No, that wasn't an official invitation.
No, hold on.
Yeah, that's what he's saying.
Hold on. I'm saying to you
yes,
that the gentleman was there on his own accord.
Yes.
Voluntarily.
Yes.
He got there. They had some conversation.
Yes.
And he left, isn't it? He left. They allowed him to go, isn't it?
The conversation was not about the matter.
Hello.
Yes, they allowed him to go.
So listen.
Yes.
Then when they allowed him to go, the security agencies went ahead to do their investigations and communications that went, on when he got there. I did not know, you did not know too. Again, after those conversations and investigation, they deemed it fit to pick him up. Then he was picked up, and then he was given bail. Now let me tell you this. There is no arrest whatsoever that's a very pleasant thing for anybody to justify. Every arrest, you have people who feel aggrieved, people who feel happy, people who feel whatever, depending on where you stand. But every arrest, any individual that is being taken, you are taken because your rights are taken away from you at the moment you are arrested. And it is not any good thing, any sweet thing, any Valentine gift to anybody. I agree with you. But the point is that the gentleman went there, had a conversation with the authorities, and he left. Then they processed whatever information they had from him. They did some investigation. They thought it was good to pick him up, and they did.
Wow.
Then after picking him up, after interrogations, they granted him bail. He's going to court today. That's a rule of law.
I understand. So now...
That's a rule of law. You may like it, you may not like it, but it is not all aspect of the law that is pleasant.
Honorable, let's give credence.
So let's allow him to go to court.
Credence
for me, that's what I want.
Let's give credence.
Again, when anybody was arrested in this country, we criticized it. The fact that we criticized doesn't mean that the authorities may not be doing something right.
I understand.
And all that. So criticisms are good to shape our discourse. It's good, and that's what we're doing right now.
Today.
And so the fact that we criticize does not mean that the authorities were doing anything wrong. Again, if any of these officers had sat here to explain themselves,
so what would have happened?
Perhaps you may have a different thought.
So what would have happened if the very day he was invited or he was arrested to the BNI? What would have happened if they had given him some police inquiry bail to go home, and then report the following day to give them the necessary information that they need?
Unfortunately, that is not.
This is not a criminal case.
No, hold on. Unfortunately,
what is it?
It's not a criminal case.
It's a criminal case. It could be a misdemeanor.
Yes. At 29.
It's a criminal case.
It
could be a misdemeanor. But listen, I'm saying to you that the process of investigation and the information that they want to pick from him, whether they have finished doing it that day or not, is not in my power to determine.
To me,
so to keep him in police cells or not, it's not in your power to determine.
What I'm trying to say is that we are only criticizing.
I mean, you are peeved, I know. It's not a pleasant thing, I agree.
Let's move on, please.
But
today we are criticizing.
It's not wrong to pick somebody.
We have no authority. We have nothing to do with this particular case. We can only criticize.
You can't be treated with kid gloves.
The only thing I want you to understand is that one day, when the table turns, I believe you will come and defend the same way you are defending.
Don't do that.
When somebody is picked up and the person is being detained for what no reason, or even for false publication or whatever he said on TV or radio station, we picked him up based on that particular information. I believe you will come and defend the same way. Because what I'm trying to say, we have to give credence to the democracy that we are all practicing. Let's understand that whoever has information and you think the information is very bad, is something that can create fear and panic in the public, and you invite the person. The person, what he has to do is to provide you the necessary information leading to that particular statement that he has made. And that is what you need.
My dear.
You understand? When the
Just
person,
a second,
let me land. When he made an allegation that they were taking bribes, I think we have deviated from investigating the matter, the substantive matter that has to do with the bribery. We have diverted from that particular place to the detention of the corporate who has made that particular statement. You understand? So the subject matter, which is bribery, we are not discussing it. Whether it's true or not, whether it has been investigated or not, nobody is discussing it now. So it means the subject matter has been covered.
Please, just a second.
And that is the deliberate thing that NDC always
Please
do.
just end so that we can move on, yes.
Look, you see, let's be careful in this country. We've seen many publications that led many countries into war, that led many countries into civil unrest, and
is this one of those?
Hold on. that brought a lot of issues that were very horrible to many countries. I am saying that publications in all forms, whether media, whoever, individual, let's be careful. You may just be tarnishing somebody's image for nothing, and it can bring a lot of trouble. And so when we are out there, have the opportunity to talk, let's speak things we have knowledge about. And that when you are called to substantiate, you'll be able to substantiate whatever you say. But you see, publications, the fact that I have the opportunity to speak to the media and you begin to say things that are not correct, in itself, we should be careful. From whatever angle you come, whether you're NDC, MPP, Ghanaian, who is not a politician, what have you, it is, informations that you give out there that are not true, that are false, could destroy people's marriages, destroy people's businesses, destroy people's work, destroy individuals, and destroy a country. And so it is important that we all guide whatever we say when we have opportunity to talk. Otherwise, we will do things that would destroy things that in itself we may at the end of the day regret, but the harm might have been caused already. So it's important we guard what we say, especially we politicians, that we go out there to say all kind of things, level all kind of allegations against our opponents that we have no any evidence whatsoever. In itself is wrong.
All right,
and we must
let's
stop
move on.
it.
Let's move on. Let's talk about vote buying in our elections. You're a member of parliament.
Yeah.
Did you pay delegates? Did you give them money, gifts?
Do you want me to be sincere with you?
Absolutely.
Okay. You see, I'm an individual.
You haven't answered my question.
I will answer your question.
Okay.
And I'll be very frank and sincere with you.
Okay.
Yes, I've given money before.
To delegates?
Exactly.
How much did you give them?
Hold on. I'm an individual who like to tell the truth no matter what. And so even in my party, it is not everything I say that people want. But I speak it the way it is, and that is who I am. My mouth really, it's hard and difficult for my mouth to lie, actually. You see, it's a canker that we all would have to deal with. Because if you do not give, your friend, your opponent will give. And you will lose. And so it's a canker we all have to deal with. I remember there was these elections that, I think the last primaries, that there was these, before the primaries, there was this program that I was doing in my constituency, okay? I was trying to help people, my constituency predominantly, rural area. And so we were trying to help people to stop fetching trees and burning them, charcoal and firewood and all that. So I was trying to give people cylinders, okay? I go to houses and give them cylinders and all that. So during our primaries, I thought that many people had come together. So let's give them some few cylinders, our 300 cedis per cylinder, small ones. So we gave them. It became a lot of issue. My party people called me And I mean, I was really cautioned, and I thought that it was good that I was cautioned, and so I accepted the fact that it may influence somebody in voting, and so that was thing that I believe that was not very good, and I took advice from. But the point is this: no individual politician who contested an election in this country will tell you that, for me, I went out there, told the people, the delegates, to come and vote for me without giving them anything that we normally call transport and feeding, and without giving them anything, and the person was voted for. And that would be a very big lie before God to say. It is.
So you
it
mean
is a
you
canker.
cannot win an election in Ghana without paying?
It is a canker in our political space. In our political space that we need to deal with. I am saying that we've all been victims and corporates giving some level of money to delegates.
Personally, how much did you spend?
Good. I think that sometimes you give some 200 cedis. I mean, our place, the highest I have gone is 300 cedis to a delegate. 200 cedis to a delegate.
One time or at different times?
No, one time, something. But mostly they come, they need to eat, they need to take the car back home, that. So you give them some money.
That's different from the 300 cedis?
No. I mean, that same thing is the same as the 300 cedis you give and all that. But you see, the point I'm making to you is that we've seen even more horrible ones. You remember the very, very ended presidential primaries that our opponent, the MPP, had, and you saw some videos and that delegate were talking to some of your media guys, and they were revealing how much money was given to them, and who had paid, and whom they were waiting for to come and also pay, and was not coming. So it have become something like a convention, which of course in itself I am not endorsing and I will not endorse. But you see, this is what we have seen in this country, and both sides, both NDC, MPP, we need to really look at. A time may come, and it has come, where our political, discourse is not attracting the best brain, because the best brain may not have the money to pay and may not have the resources to afford. And at the end of the day, whoever have the money will pay. My problem and my issue about these things is that eventually, those days, you see all kind of people using their money wherever they might have gotten the money from to sponsor politicians, These days, it's kind of becoming a situation where those individuals themselves are even contesting and are paying the money to get into politics. And that is very difficult and that's very serious for our country. I think that both NDC and MPP, we all need to up our game and see how best we can actually take politics out of paying money, delegates and all that. We can do a lot of reforms. We can do a lot of reforms and dialogues to be able to do this. But if somebody tells you that you go for primaries and you pay nothing whatsoever at all, I don't think I'll be able to get up here, go home and sleep, and tell you that politicians, you go for primaries and you do not pay anything. But the opulence display that we saw, and that I think was the issue. And we must start somewhere at some point in time and say what is wrong, and we should put a stop to it. I think that I agree with you. But the fact is that it's a canker we need to deal with in our political, discourse.
Okay, I ask you this, I'm sure you know why, because of what we saw with the NDC's primaries in the Ayawaso East constituency over the on 30. When was this? Well, this was just during the week.
Yeah.
Right.
I think, yeah.
And following the allegations,
Sunday,
following the allegations of vote buying, the party set up a committee, a 3-member committee, which was chaired by Nusa Hussaini, right? Well, the committee recommended from the public report that we have seen that the elections be annulled.
Good.
Your party has said that because of time and legal issues, you will not be able to annul the elections.
Yes.
And so you are presenting Baba Jamal for the by-election on March 3, 2026.
Yes.
The issue is, you are here, you have talked about how a politician can basically not be able to win an election without paying. If your party, when a committee that it's set up had clearly stated that annul the elections, but you still go ahead and say that in the face of all that we saw, you're still going to present this candidate, how then do we get rid of, of money in our politics as a people? Because the evidence is clear right before you. You still cannot take a decisive action.
Okay, so thank you very much. You see, the point is this. I am sure that in our laws, electoral laws, you are a lawyer, you can help us. I am not sure there is any prohibition, any provision clearly stated in our laws guiding those behavior. That's number one. So again, it's going to call a very long legal battle. I know Baba Jamal was actually preparing to go to court. I mean, he's my brother. I know him very well. He was preparing to go. He's a lawyer. I mean, because those things you want to define it very well. Again, that's why I'm saying that we need to up the game and have a conversation, see whether we can get some legal, protection on those things. Number two, you agree with me that yes, the Electoral Commission was waiting for candidates to file their nominations. Even yesterday they filed, correct? And so when were we going to do all that? What it means is that if we want to carry that out, it means that we're going to be out of the elections. We're not going to do the contest. So again, looking at all that, we want to look at which one is the best. Again, but the NDC must be commended. The NDC must be commended because even when we heard that some people were paying 5,000 and so forth and so on, our opponent in their presidential primaries alleged, we heard some allegations and some tapes and all that. They themselves were not able to call anybody to order. The NDC is the first party to call its own to order and say that we want to annul an elections that we thought that were characterized with all kind of vote buying and all that. So that means that the NDC is willing and ready to put a stop to that. So let's even commend the NDC for, first of all, coming out to even expose its own. That's number one. Number two, and that if we want to go ahead with annulment of the elections, we're going to have a very long legal battle, and you know that. Again, time will not permit us. It means that we're not going to have the elections, contested. So what do? Take the best way out. Whoever won the election, whatever it is, might have won the election. One, there is no legal, criminal, direct, perpetrations on that, which we have. Well, I'm saying that our electoral laws did not prescribe any form of punishment or what have you to that effect. So I am saying that if we want to go that way, it means that we'll lose the opportunity of contesting the elections. So the point is this: we call our own out. We've identified that there were some vote buying here and there, some characters that were not the best practices and the way we wanted it. Going forward, we're going to shape it and ensure that things like that do not happen again. Things like that are not things that we encourage. That is an NDC for you. We always call our own out. You remember when there were allegations of, for example, some illegal mining issues. His Excellency Mahama called his own out and said they should be investigated. I speak to you now. The security agencies are investigating these two individuals who are, His Excellency Mahama's friends, the NDC the executives. I mean, we will not see that in the MPP. And so the point is this. We are saying that these characters in our political, spaces are not good. Going forward, we should deal with it. I think that the NDC should be applauded for these actions that we took. So it's fine. I mean, going forward, we'll see what to do.
Okay.
Remember Freddie Blay when he bought cars for people when he was going for election?
I'm happy that you have acknowledged yourself that
you've made your point.
It cuts across
exactly.
that no politician can actually win. But there was a very fine opportunity for the NDC to take the lead on that.
I'm saying that what is the best out? The opportunity at the time wouldn't allow us to contest the election. You wouldn't do that if we were taking that decision. You wouldn't do that.
Please come in.
I was expecting something from him. He didn't say it. But I knew very well that this topic is going to be a very difficult topic for Honorable because they are all victims. If OSP is to go into details and do investigation very well, I think majority of the MPs in Parliament will go to jail. Let me say this.
You said they are all victims, so you are not part. The MPP is not part?
I say majority of, I'm not saying the majority part of Parliament. I'm saying majority of parliamentarians.
Is there any parliamentarian who is in there without not giving anything to anybody?
That is what I'm saying, that if they have to investigate.
He has been very honest about it.
The honesty
Maybe you
is
should
not
be
enough.
very honest about your suit.
Yes, the honesty is not enough.
Your position, hold on, your position, were you elected?
Me?
Yes.
My position is not an election position.
It's an appointment?
Yes.
Okay, sure.
So
Okay,
you wanted to pin me down?
No, I just wanted to find out. Okay.
But what I was trying to say is that...
Are you a delegate?
Of course,
By
yes.
virtue of your position,
Exactly.
you're a delegate?
Yes.
Okay, exactly. So you are a delegate?
Yes.
So you were not giving anything?
So I'll come to that. Let me build my point. I will answer. I will answer. I'll put everything together and you will understand me better.
Please, go ahead.
First of all,
yes,
the investigation into the matter, even setting up a committee to investigate into the matter, was something that the NDC didn't think through. One, the NDC as a political party has no authority anywhere in our constitution to annul the results at Ayawasi East. The election was conducted by electoral commission, and if anything, they have to go to court. It's the court that has authority to annul results that are coming from the electoral commission. So in the first place, you were aware that the outcome is going to be that let's let Baba Jamal go on. But to condemn the act, you have to come out and do something so that they will know that you are not enthused with whatever has happened in our Ayawasi East.
And that is good.
First of all, before you even set up that commission, there was a letter that came from the presidency.
Yes.
And the president himself nailed Baba Jamal in the box, telling the whole world that Baba Jamal is guilty. Whilst you were even searching to get a committee to investigate into the matter, the president has already concluded the matter for you. Read the letter very well. The letter was telling us that he was relieved of his post because of this particular matter, and he's the only public servant in that particular race, which was not even true. The lady who was contesting is also a public servant. He's serving about 3 balls or so. So you went in there knowing very well that something untoward has happened. And you see, you have to just admit that NDC did it extremely bad. When we are talking of election, every election, there is no election that will be conducted without money. Election is a process. You compare that to our presidential promise. Our presidential promise, my sister, if you are in Accra, you will not appreciate how people travel long distance before they will come and vote. If you are in Amihere West, and somebody has to travel from Woman No Good, somebody has to travel from Mumuni to Asankagwa to come and vote, and cast a vote. Travel about 4 hours with a motorbike, which the motorbike can charge in alone 200 Ghana cedis and out 200 Ghana cedis. And you expect the person to come and vote and go back and you say thank you. The next time you call him to come and vote, he will not come and exercise his franchise. So there is the need for you to give them transport, which is legal. Everybody knows that if there's an election, they give transport. But to go beyond the transportation and provide...
What are they providing transportation for?
Because the person has to come and cast his vote.
And I vote, nobody gives me transportation.
No, that's what I'm saying. Because you are staying around, you will not appreciate where the person is coming from.
Where do they normally come from?
Yes.
This election...
So the person will travel for 4 hours
on
a motorbike.
From where?
But look, if you want, get somebody from Amihere West and ask him, traveling from a gravel yard, to Asankagwa, how many hours are you going to travel?
So you mean that gravel what?
Gravel yard.
There's no polling center there?
No, we don't vote on polling stations.
No, I'm talking about general elections. You're talking.
No. I was referring you to our premise.
Okay.
You understand? So going beyond that transportation to give out motorbikes, give out TVs, which everybody, all the delegates were showing it on television. You don't even have to hide it. People were sharing cement. Others were sharing Gary. Others were sharing eggs. And all manner of things being shared in a premise, just Ayawasu East, within the locality. So I believe that they exceeded the transportation that was supposed to be given to the delegates, and they went ahead and did something that is inimical to our democracy. And you know it. It's an offense. That is why the OSP says he was going to investigate into the matter. I don't even know what he was investigating when the evidence and everything was on a screen.
So when it comes to theirs, you want an investigation. But when it comes to your member who was picked up, you don't want an investigation.
Did I say that one I don't want to investigate? I told them that they should investigate. I was even advocating that they should investigate deeply into the matter.
So actually you want that one to be investigated, but theirs you don't want it to be investigated because it's very obvious, like you said.
It's very obvious. The evidence was on the screen. People came to testify that they've had it. And you know all the people, they were all, nobody masked. They were all, their faces can be identified. So, for your part, you have gone extreme to destroy the democracy that we are building. And you should be honest enough to tell your people that, hey, enough is enough, where you have gotten. And I believe that the majority people who wrote a letter saying that the election should be annulled and then reconvened, so other people should recontest and other things. I don't think if Bao Jamal wins, he can join them. Because they were the same people crucifying him before the time. So, because of that, the majority leader who was supposed to chair the committee was removed. So, if he happens to win, will he join you at the majority side? Will you allow him because he's a corrupt parliamentarian? So, matters of this nature, you don't have to rush in concluding certain things like what the majority leader did. So, I believe that democracy that we are building, let's be cautious with everything that we do. Other than that, one day, you will have very intelligent person sitting somewhere. He wants to contest election. He wants to lead the constituency or the country. But because the person is not resourceful enough, the person cannot lead. The person has to pay his way before he's given opportunity. So that doesn't mean that if you are intelligent and you are not rich, you cannot lead the society. And I don't think it should be the case. We need to get to open up, and that is why there is the need for us to open our electoral college very wide for everybody to participate. NBC did it in the first place. The errors were there. They came back to the delegate system again because they said all card-bearing members should vote. And at the end, President Mahama was competing with No. And No got about 60,000 vote difference with President Mahama, which they realized that no, it will not work, and they came back to delegate system. But MPP has taken a step. We have widened our electoral college, and we'll keep widening our electoral college. Every election, electoral college that we use will not be the same, because now we have the former executives participating. We have former MMDCs participating. We have former MPs participating, and we are adding more to our polling station. The polling station was supposed to be 5. Our new constitution says that the new polling station will be 7 people in the polling station. And the electoral area coordinators has also been widened to 5 instead of 1. So it means that our electoral college has widened. So if you want to pay, and you have enough money to pay all these people, 211,000 delegates that voted in the last primaries will not be the same people who will vote in the next primaries. We will have over 300,000 people voting in the next elections. And I believe that even if you have money that is like a mountain, you can't share it to everybody. So let NDC also share the same idea with us. They should also go and widen the electoral college so that it will maybe that will be an impediment on all politicians to go in and then bribe the delegates for them to vote for them. I think that will also solve the problem than to be investigating matters that cannot be cured. Because for now, even if you investigate and you realize that Baba Jamal is wrong, you cannot do anything about it.
You see,
Let me just say this, though. You said that there was no law on vote buying and that the law has not specifically mentioned vote buying. I want to tell you that the Representation of the People's Law, PNDC 284, as amended, Section 33, is on bribery. That a person commits the offense of bribery if he directly or acting through another person gives money or obtains an office for a voter in order to induce the voter to vote or refrain from voting, or corruptly does such an act on account of a voter having voted or refrained from voting, or 3, makes a gift or provides something of value to a voter to induce the voter to vote in a certain way or to obtain the election of a candidate, or B, if he advances or pays money or causes money to be paid or for the use of a person with the intent that the money or part of it shall be expended in bribery at an election, or knowingly pays money or causes money to be paid to a person in discharge or repayment of money wholly or in part expended in bribery at an election. So, I mean, the law is very clear.
Thank you. But the point I'm making is this.
The only problem I have with this law is that, CSOs like Occupy Ghana have said that this law relates largely to our general elections and not internal elections. But it is clear, you are a lawmaker. You should know that even if a law has not been specifically prescribed for internal elections, what you people engage in is vote buying.
Okay, so
and it is bribery.
Let me get clearance from this particular statement you read. But is it that it's specifically mentioned in this section that this particular law is specifically for the general elections, or it's meant for any bribery at all, any inducement at all?
No, because the law itself deals with elections generally.
Exactly.
It deals with the general elections. So it does not specifically mention, but the Representation of the People law guides or provides guidance for general elections. So that is why there's the assumption that it's dealing with the general elections and not specifically, because I believe that it cuts across, because an election is an election. Okay. However, I'm telling you that CSOs like Occupy Ghana have said that they believe that this law deals with general election and maybe we should have party-specific elections. But I'm sure that when you take your party constitutions... Hold on. I'm saying that I'm sure that your party constitutions provide, clauses for vote buying, because if not, under what grounds did your party issue a statement condemning the acts that they saw in those videos?
There's nothing like that in our party constitution.
So your party allows vote buying?
No, it's not specifically mentioned in the party constitution that vote buying is allowed, but it's not also mentioned that vote buying should be prohibited.
This is it. This is it. Every provision for any grouping must take its reference from the national constitution. So even if it is not specifically mentioned in our political party regulations and laws, every regulations for every grouping, politically and what have you, must take precedence and roots from the the Constitution. So whether it's stated or not, that is not even an issue. The point is this. Remember when I was explaining to you my own situation, what I said was that it was an ongoing project that I was trying to give cylinders to people to stop them from fetching trees for firewood and all that. But when they came together, I thought there was an opportunity to just do the sharing. There was no intention to buy vote. That's number one. Number two, the fact that you give somebody 300 cedis, what we're saying is that we want to give you money to eat and to take car home. Nobody had come here to say...
You and I know that is not true,
Hold
but
on.
it's fine.
Nobody had come here to say...
And he said you have been honest, and you say you are a very honest person.
Nobody
but
had
on this
come
one,
here.
I'm sorry to tell you that you are being dishonest.
Nobody had come here to say that he gave money to influence people to go and vote.
So why did they ask you to give them money for transportation? Hold on.
And I'll give you a
the law
example.
does not... Hold on. The law does not ask you seeking office. Because voting is a civic responsibility.
Absolutely.
You don't have to pay anybody to go and vote. The minute you pay somebody to go and vote, you and I know that you know why you are giving them the money.
Okay.
You can all hide under the guise of giving them money to buy food and transportation. But you know in your heart what you are giving them the money for.
That if you don't pay, they will not vote.
Now, this is the point. This is the point. The law did not prohibit any gift to any individual at any point in time.
It's factored
but
in.
you listened to what I said.
It's factored in.
What I read.
Can I finish? The law only says that if you are giving that to an individual to induce him, to influence him, or to coerce him to vote in a particular direction,
yes,
that is wrong. Now, if that is it, I believe strongly that the presidential primaries that went on, it is not the person who paid most that won. Do you understand my point? It is not the person who paid most that won.
Yes.
But if it is the inducement and
Isn't
influence,
that for your party?
Hold
That
on.
is what, because,
No.
it is not the person who
For
paid
example,
the most.
even Baba Jamal's
Baba Jamal
issue-
is alleged to have shared TVs.
No,
That
no.
is the highest gift
but
that
we
was
had
given.
situations where people were sharing motorbikes. A motorbike can never be
He
expensive.
didn't share.
Cheap
He didn't
TV
share.
can never be
He didn't
expensive
share
than
motorbikes too.
That was the allegations that we had that some other people. So assuming without admitting that that is true, then the motorbike sharer should win. In your own issue, I mean, the one who shared the biggest money, the allegations that we heard about, was not the person who won. So if the money was to induce and influence, then the highest bidder should be the one winning. The fact is that truly, when you go to my constituency, for example, you have somebody coming from Bonsango, Asensuwa Gave, very, very,
but honorable.
So you come and you say, go hungry,
honorable,
stay around till the day end before you go,
honorable,
because it's a civic responsibility. I mean, that is not fair.
But honorable.
When we are conducting the general elections, does the Electoral Commission come and give me money to buy food? Because I've stood in the
That's
queue
where
for
I'm going.
hours.
Listen, what we can do is this, that the parties should have a way of taking care of the delegates that are coming to vote for the individual aspirant. Hold on, let me finish.
No, I wanted to address this issue.
You will do it. Hold on. The party should have a way of resourcing the delegates that are coming from their individual homes to come and select a candidate. Then if the party should do that, then the individual candidates would have no reason whatsoever taking care of them.
Wrap it up for me.
Do you understand?
Wrap it up for me.
But if the party do not do that, and individuals who are seeking to occupy office, and people are coming from their various villages and so forth and so on, to come and vote for you, and you want to see them go hungry, I don't think that is fair.
So, I wanted to address an issue about the general election.
Yes.
If you are to go out and vote, why is it that they don't provide something like the Electoral Commission? Deliberately in the CI of the what do you call it, general election CI, deliberately the Electoral Commission did it in a way that the polling station will get closer to the people who are going to vote, in a manner that you will not transport yourself two different places to go and vote. That is a reason why they get the polling station closer to you. But in this particular scenario that we are talking about, in the case of parliamentary elections and then presidential election, they all have to come from all different places
to come and gather
and vote. So that will need transportation. But on your issue too, let me tell you, in law, I know she's a lawyer. The most important thing in giving out is what we call the Mensah. The mentality behind it.
Yes.
The mentality behind it is what we are talking about. So, if you want to give out something, why did you give it in the day of the voting? If you think you are giving charity, why don't you give the charity out maybe some day? But the day of the election is the day that you have chosen to give that charity to the people. It means that you want them to do something for you. So the mentality or the intent behind giving out this particular gift is something that the law will hold you on. And that is what we call the Mensah. So if you are telling me that the day that your delegates came, you were just sharing food to them, they are in their various homes, you have never shared food to them. The day of the election, you need something from them. That is why you have given them something.
No.
So it will be amount to bribe.
No.
Let me tell you, that is what it is.
No.
It's not about what you think.
No.
That is what it is.
No.
Have you been sharing food to them every day?
So hold on. I don't give them food every day because I have not asked them to come from their various houses to come and gather at a particular place to perform a function every day.
Why go through all the trouble just to go to Parliament?
Thank you very much.
I'm not a parliamentarian, so I'm out of this question.
Whether you like it or not, somebody would have to serve the people. So, if I decided to stay out, an individual must step in to serve the people. So the question is, why should we have representation? We have representation because somebody must be served.
That wasn't the question. Yes, somebody has to serve, but why do you have to pay to serve?
Again, I'm not saying that it is right to pay to serve. It is not.
What is in Parliament that all of you like so much?
It is not right to pay to serve.
Please answer me. Why are you in Parliament?
I'm in Parliament to serve.
And you are paying people to serve them.
The point is this.
Are the people you are supposed to serve not the ones supposed to pay you?
The point is that, those days, I'll tell you something,
You are not answering my question.
Those days, when a member of Parliament comes to the constituency and is going around, he goes with a pickup. By the time he gets home, you will see plantain, you will see goats, you see fowls and stuff like that. People, the villagers will be dashing him things. Do you know what happened now? Today, you are expected to go and give them something.
But the question she asked has not been answered yet, though.
So the point is this. Again, things evolve. Life changes. That's where we are now. That, people expect that their MPs will take care of them. And they expect it, to be taken care of. And, life is like that. Things changes, things evolve. And that's where we are now.
Esther, we need to sponsor you to Parliament to go and see what is happening there. So when you go one term,
you tell us.
You now come and tell us that.
Thank you. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for coming on the show. I wanted us to quickly talk about the cocoa sector.
Yeah, it's very important.
Okay, so 5 minutes, so we wrap up because we have to wrap up. So, government is expected to address us today, the information minister, on the reforms for the cocoa sector moving forward. Because yesterday, President Mahama held an emergency cabinet meeting to address the long-standing delays in payment, to cocoa farmers. Because I have seen videos, I'm sure you've all seen it, of cocoa farmers complaining of payments backdating as far back as November 2025.
Yeah.
What are your expectations?
I mean, I'm a cocoa farmer myself. I have a very big cocoa farm.
Okay.
I mean, my dad was a cocoa farmer before he passed. I am a cocoa farmer too. I do a lot of farming, and I regret the situation. But the point is this: is it a deliberate thing? What's the economic situations that cause that? I think that our success as government, it's in a way what is bringing some of these things, but it will be addressed. Today, the finance minister will be addressing these issues. And I think that largely we would wait for him to address. But you see, look, if you're a cocoa farmer and cocoa farming, you get money seasons. and it is time for you to celebrate Christmas, and your cocoa beans are sent to the pieces and they've not paid you and all that. It's very difficult. It's painful. And I don't think that it's justifiable. But you see, we all know that we send the cocoa abroad, we sell in dollar, and at the time we're fixing the price of cocoa, we had a dollar at a particular, price. Today, the cedi's strength that we gain against the dollar is actually bringing the prices of cocoa internationally. It's also coming down. Our cedi's gaining strength and all that. So it's a very difficult situation we need to deal with. And I'm happy that yesterday, His Excellency Mahama held a meeting, and today the finance minister will put measures in place and will give a very good news, and cocoa farmers will be paid, and going forward there will be a reform that will guard the sector, and I don't think that we'll see these things again. So for me, it's regrettable, but hey, what do you do? These are situations that we need to deal with, and I can assure you that today's announcement and today's statement will deal with the issues, and kudos to His Excellency Mahama for the steps he's taking to deal with the issues once and for all.
All right. Please come in, Mr. Hussein.
The cocoa issue is a very worrying situation. Ghanaians, especially the cocoa farmers, were not expecting this from this government. They were not expecting it at all because they were giving all. Yeah, they were giving.
Where you see it.
They were giving all manner of juicy promises.
Hey.
Before they came to power, they told them that cocoa sector, if you don't have a land or if you don't have cocoa, go and look for land and then plant, because they are going to see some adjustments in the cocoa sector, and they were going to be paid promptly based on their manifesto promise that they gave to the Ghanaian people. I think the cocoa farmers were happy. They voted massively for them. They went ahead to tell them that cocoa 3,100 at that particular time wasn't enough. If they come to power, they will make sure that they give them 6,500. And the cocoa farmers were happy. And it was going to be a prompt payment. They were very happy. They were going to give them free fertilizer and all manner of things that they promised the cocoa farmers. The cocoa farmers did their best. And lucky enough, President Mahama won the election overwhelmingly. So they jubilated, and President Mahama Thanksgiving in the north, I think Western North, he went there and said, very soon you are going to rejoice over this cocoa, sector facility that will come to you. So go and look for land and plant cocoa. Not longer, just a year after that particular promise, cocoa farmers are crying. Today, they are not being paid. Even the adjustment that they made, the promise that they made to the cocoa farmers, they were going to adjust the prices. It didn't happen. The 3,100 was further adjusted to 3,500 or 3,600 per bag. And that is what the cocoa farmers accepted, saying that, oh, this is your first time, or this, you are new in government, so we are waiting for maybe when it gets better, then we will consider. Then, President Mahama is now telling us that there is no money to even pay them. Those who sold their cocoa as far back as November have not received their payment. The license buying cocoa companies are now struggling to also pay the farmers. And I believe that President Mahama, the confidence that the cocoa farmers had in you and they voted for you, should not be used as a joke.
But isn't this why the president has commissioned an urgent cabinet meeting yesterday, which we are talking about? The question is, what are your expectations? Because the president has already identified that there are problems. Like you said, he made a promise. So what do you expect government to do moving forward?
First of all, the president should come out and apologize to the cocoa farmers for making that juicy promises.
When Ghanaians asked your party to apologize,
you said?
When Ghanaians asked the NPP to apologize for the rising cost of living and the hardship. Did you apologize?
Yes, some of them we did. Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo is on record to have told Ghanaians that he regretted on some of the decisions that he made. So that has been done.
Okay.
So the government today, we are expecting John Dramani Mahama to come and apologize to the cocoa farmers for raising their expectations and making sure that all manner of things were promised to them, making sure that he gives them their money immediately, because the cocoa farmers are about to commit suicide. I've heard one lady, 81-year grandma, talking about
stop adding spices.
Oh, you know about
like
it. You know,
like the
when did I tell you I was?
people who were affected by the DDEP.
Exactly, and that is the main reason why the Ghanaians
they too want to commit suicide.
They killed and they voted MPP out.
The cocoa farmers are like the DDEP.
Yes, of course.
Okay.
So today they're on your neck.
Cocoa farmers are committing suicide.
No, some of them are contemplating suicide.
That some people, yes, of course. Because they have a lot of bills on them.
He's
they are
a
not
cocoa
paying.
Farmer too. But he is not contemplating
But he's a member of parliament. You know where he is. That's why you were asking me what is even there that they are struggling to go. So he's not worried about it. But today, the cocoa farmer is the most vulnerable person among, not even the cocoa farmer alone. It has extended to even the people in the northern region. It has extended to the people in the northern region. If you have a friend in the northern region, call him and ask the situation.
What's going on there?
The situation there is that they are even having, they have their farm product lying down there, nobody's buying.
What kind of farm products is that?
We have maize, we have beans, we have soybeans, we have all manner of, even rice.
And they are not getting market.
And they are not getting market. They have reduced the price to the last limit of 400 Ghana cedis per bag. Beans that we know is very costly, it's now 300 Ghana cedis or 350 Ghana cedis per bag, and nobody's buying.
Why?
Why is that? Because you have artificially reduced the dollar down, and people are importing certain things outside the country, and you people, because you are tasty for foreign product, you are now buying the foreign product, and the local producers are suffering.
That we're doing well,
so the cocoa sector.
So today, what are your expectations?
My expectation is that the president in the information minister should not come and lament. They should come with a clear-cut, solution to what the cocoa farmers are going through. Oh, we are going to pay. If you are paying, when are you paying? This is what the cocoa farmer want to hear from the government. When are you paying? So that they will also prepare themselves. Those that they are owing, they now assure them that their money is coming so they can pay. They can, maybe some fees that they are also owing, they will pay their children's school fees.
Thank you so much.
But to come and then lament to us that the cocoa price has reduced down, and because of that,
but
do you know the government
is the truth?
Do you know even the government?
Is it not the truth?
Truth you are telling us. Didn't the government anticipate? Didn't the government anticipate that prices can go down and then go up? Didn't he expect that we have price fluctuation that will also come out and go up?
You see?
And you were promising them. You never anticipated that.
You see?
Listen, people, whatever they told the Ghanaian people is what they are paying them back.
Listen.
And I don't think you are going to take it kindly.
We have to go.
We are on the side of the cocoa farmers.
Yes,
we are on the side of the cocoa farmers, and we expect the government to pay
just as they were on the side of the DDEP.
They shouldn't even contemplate of reducing the price.
No. Nobody's saying that. His Excellency Mahama never disappoints. Today,
what is he going to do?
My colleague farmers.
He has privy information to whatever is going to happen.
We will have a good news.
All right.
And so let's all.
What will they be expecting?
Let's disregard the MPP's propaganda of cocoa price being reduced. It's not going to be reduced. The prices will never be reduced. We will pay the farmers, and we will reform the sector. And all these things will not happen again.
The propaganda from the NDC.
And so Ghanaians will expect good news from His Excellency.
You understand? So
he's on record.
He's on record. I want GHOne to capture
that the Ghanaians should expect good news.
If
Don't you want good news?
Me? Why? I'm also related to some people who are cocoa farmers, even though I'm not a cocoa farmer.
You want good news?
But I'm related to people who are cocoa farmers.
You want good news?
I want good news.
And he says there will be good news.
That is what I want him to be on record. So that when it's otherwise, we can hold him accountable. Well, it goes otherwise, we could hold you accountable.
He said President Mahama has not disappointed.
MPP want us to
President Mahama has not what?
Has not disappointed.
In the
never
first place, he has disappointed cocoa farmers. In the first place, he has disappointed cocoa farmers.
Thank you very much for coming on the show.
It, but the cocoa farmer out there will say it.
is the Honourable Member of Parliament for the good people of Chifwa Timokwa, and Issa Hussein is the Western Regional Director of Communications for the NPP. Ganyo Jibo. Oh, okay. Thank you. Stay with me. After the break, we continue.
that I'm particularly interested in, and I'm instructive that they decide to deal with persons who are under 40 under 40. I know that rings a lot of bells for you this morning, but let's get to the conversation now and appreciate exactly what we are to expect this year. Richard Abe is founder of 40 under 40 Africa, and he's joined us. Richard, welcome.
Thank you very much.
I hope you're doing very well.
Well, as the Lord liveth. Of course, we're doing our best.
Absolutely. And how are things going? Because I know you've been doing a lot of work in terms of the award ceremony.
I mean, it's okay. I mean, the thing is that when you have a team that is also behind you and all that, and then the fact that we do not rest, of course, because we are still in our young days and all that. I say you can only take rest when you enter the grave. So basically trying to put things together and make things happen. And that's what we do all the time. We're also expecting Valentine, where our wives will be buying us gifts. So
can you echo that part?
Yeah, where our wives will be buying us gifts and all that. Yeah, we can also enjoy from them.
You see,
I mean,
it's a two-way affair.
Of course.
It's not always.
Of course.
Sometimes they just give us boxer shorts and
and a singlet and all that. Yeah, it's okay. Maybe perfume sometimes if you are lucky anyway. So remember, we don't even know why we are here.
Interesting.
Yeah.
We're talking about 40 under 40. For those who are not aware of 40 under 40, and I'll be surprised if you're not aware, by the way. But what's the initiative all about?
Yeah. So the initiative was that, of course, I mean, it was birthed because of young entrepreneurs and what they're doing on the continent. I mean, even in the country, because in 2017 is when we introduced the 40 under 40, recognizing accomplished young business and influential ones, of course, who have risen up the ranks and who want to know that. I mean, success can be started at a tender age, and we do not necessarily have to think that the youth is more of a youthful exuberant who is just happy and all that. But and then also the continent has been bedeviled with some media reportage that is not the best, which looks like we're killing ourselves and nasty things being shown out, the slums and all that. But there are young entrepreneurs who are building, who are doing well in community development, who are doing well in technology, who are doing well, and amazing stories. In fact, sometimes when we read some of the entries that come in, I'm an ex-official member of the judging panel, and you read the things, and you see a young man having maybe 12, 13, 15 branches of a company. You find people dealing in millions, especially in UK or probably even in Zimbabwe, in Tanzania. You find somebody who is producing tankers, young entrepreneurs under 40. And this is what we want to sell out there. We're reporting differently to the world that Africa is not just a place that you might have thought that we are sort of jumping from tree to tree or something, or maybe we are sort of into all spiritualities and cultures and that's it. But then they have young people who are building a community. People are changing slums into other things. And these are people are into energy and a lot of them, and that's the essence of the 40 under 40. So it began here, and then we had to take it up to Africa. I mean, after 5 years, we thought of the fact that why do you stay here alone? Of course, I'm an African, I'm a Ghanaian, but I'm an African. So then we said, okay, bring Africa together. And currently brings about 22 to 25 countries together, where you have people coming from different countries coming together. And the amazing thing, Joshua, is that you don't find somebody who is in Morocco, who is into real estate. Meet somebody in Tunisia, or meet somebody in Zimbabwe, or somebody in Kenya or Angola, who is doing maybe something else that he thinks they can intertrade. And that's the essence of the whole thing, networking. In order to show that, of course, we know that Africa is actually the way forward for the world. I mean, this is clear. But how do we project this? If we bring these young people, they build a future. Currently, there's an alumni of about 500 people from different countries, about the world, about 48 countries, on a certain page. Now, somebody needs something from like a shea butter, for instance. He calls an enemy is delivering. There are people down here who are already asking for shea butter this morning, because they want to take it. I'm sure a lot will ask of the fugu as well. I mean, there are Zambian nominees as well anyway. So it's sort of that sort of a network, that sort of dialogue, that sort of sharing of experiences, that sort of trading among young entrepreneurs, and that's the focus of it.
You mentioned that it started in 2017.
Yes.
And I'm sure that the experiences over the years have been phenomenal. But for you, in a nutshell, what has been the experience?
So the experience has been that one, and the fact that we opened in South Africa as well, where we have a South Africa edition as well, and then now we have the global one that is held in Dubai. And very soon, Joshua, we are going to bring the global one now to Africa as well, and bring it to Ghana.
Wow,
that's the whole thing. And experience the whole thing. The beauty of the thing is the stories that I hear all the time. When people go for interviews and when they ask them, they say they want 40 under 40. I see universities posting some of the people, like outside university, posting their candidates who had won.
Yeah.
And you could see a lot of people happy that their alumni coming together and all that, like very happy for the nominee and all that. I see people that learn from each other in terms of branding. And that's what I saw in South Africa and Uganda, where somebody was into hair and he realized the kind of bottle that he had done was not well branded. He had to learn from the South African, and this was because they met. you amaze you the kind of gelling that is going on right now, even on the tour, on the bus, the kind of conversations that they are having. They are not even listening to the tourists, they are building a network. And you know, the thing about this country in Africa is that network is not valued. That's why you and I will go to church and then sneak and go out, or probably go to a program and then wait for the breakfast and then finish and go. But the point is, how do you connect with somebody? Because you never know who you meet.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But talk to me about this 5th anniversary,
yeah,
or this 5th edition of the award scheme. How different is that from what we've seen over the years?
Well, first of all, it's coming to the homeland, because it started here in the homeland in 2022, and then trying to be a Pan-Africanist and following the dictates of Nkrumah and all that, I decided to go to South Africa, then came to Kenya, and went to Egypt and finally came back to Ghana. So that's the difference. And then the fact that this time you are having they touring for almost, some of them are in the country for 7 days and all that.
Okay.
And then the fact that they will be visiting the Gamanche tomorrow. I mean, which is of course to show that, because the King of Accra must be, to have to pay homage. And then they tour the Memorial Park and all that and go around just to see how Accra looks like. Now they are in Cape Coast because they are going to learn about the slavery. So for us, the beauty of it is promoting our own country to the world, and that's what this makes that's what makes this very significant. Then there's a summit part of this whole thing. I mean,
because I know it's not just an award.
No, I mean that's the correction I want to make. It's not just that. I say that the intrinsic value of the trophy fine is key, but the issue is that this kind of summits is where we are discussing the dialogue, the issue of Africa, the way forward, value addition. And of course, I'm happy with Gold Board and what it's doing. So they're speaking, because right now we're becoming a model now for Botswana and other countries, and that's the way forward. Now, what is Africa doing to its own thing? Where you have cocoa and then it goes and comes back. Where you and I have not held gold before and all that. Now we are holding it. Now, that is the way forward we're discussing at the summit. Then we are showcasing what we call the fashion of the 5. The intention is that show Africa that there are things being produced here. Caveman is doing watch. I wear it. I'm not promoting him. But the thing is, because I do that because I want to look Ghanaian sometimes. Now, this is not done in other countries. What collaboration can they meet? He's a 40 and a 40 winner. He's now going to meet these African guys who probably will decide and say, let me open a branch. This is what we are thinking about doing. And that's what the summit is intended to do. So this fashion show will showcase them, show Sarah the dressmaker, show the lady who is using kente to do bags and using fugu to do bags, show Mason Yusuf who's trying to use spices and all that. Free for them, of course, to exhibit, not being paid for that, just to show what we have in Ghana and all. And in the end, to communicate, this is the way forward for Africa. Signed by them there digitally, and send it to the AU, send it to the AFCFTAs. Tell them that the young people of this country think that this is the way forward. That we could not see them, because the problem of this, you see, I'm speaking on the topic which is rebalancing faith and reality, where I'm going to discuss the issue of the fact that is Africa praying too much. I'm a Christian, but at the point you realize we are the same people who pray later and still go and take the same leader we don't like. I mean, you and I know that Museveni and Pobi are still in government and all that, but the same people who vote for the person, even when people are sick, they cannot work. Moses Ali and all that, even in Uganda. So how do we change these narratives and all that? Those are the key discussions we are having there. And there are about 45 different people who have traveled from different countries who have been coming here. Today, 10 are arriving, different countries.
Wow.
Yeah.
Quite interesting.
Tourism for the country as well.
Exactly.
Of course.
Exactly. Because you mentioned that people are now in Cape Coast trying to learn about the slave trade and get to appreciate.
And then they've been to the safari valleys, they've been to aqua safaris, and they've been to Cape Magadi. They're having nightlife. Yeah. And there are some 7 days and 8 days down here. And then we're using a double decker bus tomorrow, which is the Ministry of Tourism. We are now promoting, just like if you travel and go to the UK, you know, there are this big bus and all that. Yes, that's the kind of level we want to push the GTDs to also do, to promote that tourism to the extent that groups will come and sit in the car. At least I sit at the top, Mangota Mankono. You remember the name we had in the past. Now, I'm hoping that the government puts in more for them so they can have a lot and spread the tourism. So there are points of pickup and all that. You see, this is what will grow Africa and grow Ghana as well. Because then there will be a lot of foreign coming in whilst you are using mortgaging everything against the gold and all that. So for us, I mean, tourism for the country, that's what we say of excellence to us as well. People have arrived and we're like, the Ghanaian hospitality is non-negotiated, honestly. In fact, the kind of comments I've had, say, you guys are so nice. You know, we can help you drag your bag. Of course. Yes, but you can drag your own bag, nobody will mind you. You know, there's that feeling, and then we met them with kente sash, we're woven on their neck, giving a Ghanaian accent to this whole thing. For us, that makes it very significant.
And when is all of this happening?
So
I know that, of course.
So we've got all now taking place. So the 9th, actually, so the 14th, which is a Valentine's Day, of course. We want to get people busy as well. I mean, maybe you can be there and then be part of the summit. So the summit is 8 to about 1 o'clock and all that. We're discussing, like I told you, the way forward for Africa and all that. Some speakers are coming to speak the excellence of Africa's growth. And then you're having people from... So it's surprising that somebody from United Kingdom just decided that I want to speak, and he pays his own flight and is down here. Wow. I mean, and it's a Zimbabwean but lives in the United Kingdom. And then you have South African who is also coordinating something. So it's more like Pan-African thing, and that's going to be the conference. Then we do the fashion show, which is around with just about 45 minutes, showcase what Africa has and all that. I'm just hopeful that sometimes I look at the media and look at the Reuters and the BBC, I say, what do they capture? Are they able to capture these things of this country? And not necessarily when somebody dies when inflation increases. Let an inflation go up right now. BBC is going to cover it. A lot of young people that I've met discussing Africa. Why are you not interested? This is the problem. So you realize we're going to do this and nobody will hear of anything. We issue press release, sign, nothing. Want to hear that one person probably has fallen off the plane? Yes. Bad news. And I am very worried about this. It's just a passing comment anyway. So basically that's it. Then in the evening is awards night where we are celebrating. We're expecting some ambassadors have signed up because they've seen their country people have come in and all that, who are coming ambassadors. And then you also have a diaspora, Office of the Diaspora supporting the Ministry of Communication, Ministry of Youth Development coming on and all about, and the GTDC and all that. So, and then the Ministry of Culture, like I said, tourism coming on. So then that what's in the night, it's around 7 o'clock and all that. And then we crown the event, and then people start leaving maybe from the 15th, yeah. So some have been here since 8th.
Wow.
Yeah.
And they've been enjoying Ghana.
Yeah, of course. In fact, Ghana, I have been to South Africa and been to a lot of countries in terms of when I eat food, and I'm not saying this as a shade to all of them, but you see there's a quality and difference in our food here. Some of them, there's a chef who had come from South Africa, for instance, who's a nominee, who had gone to Council Republic, the company that's provided some food, and they've gone to do that's kind of, they're going to experience jollof and wachi. They don't know these things. Now we have to tell them what the wachi makeup and all that, and some of them are so much enjoying sobolo. Because they were like, oh, wow. We even added that argument. They said, no, they like the food. They are enjoying the Ghanaian food. Right. And you will see the difference when you go out there and see your food. You realize that, hey, Charlie, we have some good food here.
Absolutely. So on Saturday, in the morning, we'll have the summit. And then later at night, we're climaxing it with the award ceremony. Yes. Where is it happening?
And it's happening at Kempinski. And then just to speak about the process of the award and all that. You see, so I have said that integrity matters when it comes to award schemes and all that.
Mentioned integrity and credibility.
Very important. The thing is that for us, for instance, they are judges from Nigeria, coming from Zimbabwe, coming from South Africa, coming from Kenya. The head judge is Christina. It's a Ghanaian Kenyan who heads it. And the process is like the entries come through, and then it goes into a digital platform, and then they have to do scoring remotely because they cannot meet. So remote scoring, so you don't even know the candidate and all that. Then it sums up. And there's a public vote of 20%. That idea of the public vote is to expose them to the public and say that these are the people in Africa and what they are doing. Again, is to let the public come and scrutinize them and say, hey, maybe this guy has a record that we don't want to go and all that. And those things come to us. Right. Then after analysis is made, and then so we don't know who is under 40 of the nomination, and people come in and nominate them. And it's been wonderful over the years. Actually, somebody went for an interview, they asked him, he said it's 40 under 40. It changed the dynamics, and that's it. They gave him the grant. I can tell you, Nyamakwe is a 40 under 40 winner. I don't know who hasn't won 40 under 40 in this country. Tamara Jonas, I don't know. Let me come to GHOne Ado. I don't know who. What is it? Dufour? Is it Kodjo Janis? Who were then doing the banking was really going one way in 2017 and all that. I mean, I don't know who. That hasn't. Even Anita Kings and all that. They've all won that. If these people didn't think it was a credible process, they will not probably participate. Absolutely. I can understand the kind of hula baloo around the whole thing about what, but we have kept the process. We said that you can never buy 40 under 40. Never.
All right, Richard. I'm excited about Saturday, and I'm sure Ghanaians are also excited. Africa is excited about it. You mentioned that, listen, it's Africa to the world, they're bringing the globe now to the world.
So imagine that somebody from Czech Republic. So now there are nominees on the global one, which I've done. The second one we are doing now is in Dubai. And I sit in this country as a Ghanaian, a black guy, and you find nominations that are coming from Czech Republic, Spain, Berlin, India. Now, looking for the fact that recognition because they believe in the value of it. So imagine that in the next few years we're bringing all of them. So what you have seen as a football, very soon, that's what the award scheme will become. Absolutely. It will become like a gathering of the globe.
Absolutely. Well, we need to run, but then your final words ahead of Saturday.
Let me acknowledge the partners like I've mentioned already, and the sponsors who are helping as well. I mean, JP has been providing fuel, for us and all that, and I'm very grateful to Council Republic, who's also providing food as they go on the journey. And then Payangel, of course, which is the remittance company, a Ghanaian-owned remittance company, has also been supporting us and all that. And I acknowledge the team and all the nominees that back to Africa. Of course, I mean, I still know Akwaba is there, but I'm from the Ghana. So back to all of them, and they should enjoy Ghana. Absolutely. And then the award is going to stay here for the next 3 or more years. So I want to believe that there'll be a lot coming in the future as well. Yeah.
Well, we appreciate the work you're doing with 40 under 40.
Thank you.
And thank you for sharing the spotlight on Africa.
Thank you very much.
Richard Abe is CEO and founder of 40 Under 40, and the award ceremony is this Saturday, but it starts with a summit where Africans are gathering to talk about Africa.
Sure.
Very, very important. And then in the evening, we get to see the glitz, the glam, and of course the celebration of who is winning what. Richard Abe, thank you for coming once again. But of course, let me talk to you about Pepsodent, because you need to brush twice, at least twice daily, in the morning when you wake up and at night before you go to bed. And for those of you who love the charcoal flavor, Pepsodent has the Pepsodent charcoal for you, which is basically made of a fine blend of fluoride with a unique combination of natural charcoal, lemon, mint, and zinc. And those of you who prefer herbal stuff, well, there's the Pepsodent Herbal as well, the green and white one. Really, really fresh. And what that one does is that it gives you really, really, really fresh breath, because it is infused with a unique blend of green tea and herbal extracts as well. And because every single doctor in this country, every dentist is recommending Pepsodent, you can also call 0800 161 000, 0800 161 000 to speak to a dentist for free. So if you want more, you can call the customer care line of Pepsodent at 0800 200 030, 0800 200 030. Pepsodent, every smile matters. We'll be right back after this break.